Wait, the show hasn't started yet. It's not started yet, because I didn't tell the movie, so just wait. Hold on.
Yeah, like, damn it, monitoring. I didn't get the timer set up, you know? I'm like, just like a little out of breath, you know? So, this is like the pre-show. What's up, everybody? I can't even hear my keyboard, I'm just like playing random notes. Is it alright? What's up, CJ? Why am I not? Actually, can you just give me 1 second? We should actually, I want to start the show, so hold on. Enjoy the time lapse for 1 second. Okay, now's when the show starts. Pretend the timer started. I guess it's not actually that small. It's pretty big, actually. Damn, and it's not even June 18th. Damn it. See, I'm getting you. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? It's a good day to be alive. I'd say most days are good days to be alive, because Like, come on, you're alive. You're like a cognizant, moving around being. Like, that is gangster as fuck. It's actually June 19th. I just wanted to clear that up for you guys. It's not the 18th anymore. We finished with that one. Oh, I sort of wanna prime you guys for, days coming. Apparently, right, that was pretty nuts on Marf. I totally believe that guy that called in that says that there's like some crazy solar flare coming from a distance, and that, right, a bunch of this stuff is like red herrings trying to fool us and make us look at the wrong stuff. So, I mean, maybe I'll be moot and just society is going to collapse like pretty soon. Oh, it's your birthday, Elish? Happy birthday. Is that out of, right, that's not in copyright anymore. Okay. Wait, let me get you some auto tune.
Happy birthday, dear Alice. Happy birthday,
Um, what was I saying? Yeah, so the world is gonna collapse or whatever. But also just in general, I want to let you guys know, like I'm like leading a double life, like a double and a triple life, because it turns out, yeah, making a show like this is pretty elaborate, you know. You gotta do the research and think about it, and it's like I want to think about it, but I have all these other responsibilities, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't just driving into town to make these videos. Like all of the content that I'm gathering together, I'm like doing it in my, like, on the side, you know. It's like, oh damn, I'm gonna drive. Oh, okay, nice, let me get some footage, so show you guys what's up, you know. This is today in the heart of Los Angeles. If you've never been, it's pretty dirty and ugly. It's just in general. And you know, we also talk about the weather. You can see the clouds. It was a pretty standard day. I'm not sure if these are holograms or not. It was yeah, honestly, I was running around a little bit. But what I'm trying to say, though, not not to make excuses, because I think that's just part of this whole weird YouTube existence, that like we hang out and you know, I'm not gonna like give you my social security number, but we get to know each other, and you know, there's that aspect of it as we get to know Los Angeles. And I'm just saying, like, yeah, with this double and triple life, I literally set the show up after collecting all this data all day, right? But I didn't have any time to edit and put this stuff into place, so I threw this all together in the last 10 minutes. And sometimes, right, that's just the vibe. But we're all friends, you know. So, right, thumbs up, Glow Green Kitty. You're awesome, crushing life. So that's the basic, right? This is probably going to be a shorter podcast. But I do want to bring some of these images to you from this isn't really downtown LA. This isn't where Skid Row is. And definitely, you know, warning, mild graphicness, because it is honestly very rough down here these days. The whole, you know, all these major metropolitan cities on the West Coast are really just kind of flooded with people that just can't afford anything. You can't. I'd have to do the math sometime, right? In LA, if you earn say $12 an hour, I guess they're working on 15, but I mean, we could do it right now. If you work, because I'm not a math scientist, so I'm gonna have to use a calculator. But if you work $15 an hour times 40 hours, that's gonna get you $600. $600 in Los Angeles will buy you, like, I don't know, a couple burritos. Like that's really not gonna get you very far. $600. So there's your 40-hour work week. You're gonna be exhausted at that point. Like really exhausted after your 40-hour backbreaking work. You know, whatever you're doing. If you're earning $15 an hour, you're probably not doing extremely gratifying, glorifying work. So that's gonna get you $600, right? So your average, let's not even say your average, your only possibility of like living anywhere near Hollywood is going to start. Oh, that's right. I want to save that for the news section. It's going to start around, I want to say $1,500, and that's maybe in an apartment with that you're sharing with two other roommates. That's just a room, and $1,500 will get you a room. Hopefully a bathroom and other sort of amenities like that. But right, $1,500. So we just did the math. You only get $600, and might I add, that's before tax. So that $600 probably turns into more like $400. Damn. But wait, we didn't even like eat or go to the movies or like have a kid or any of that. Like we were just trying to pay rent, and we can't even pay half of it with our minimum wage full-time job, right? And that's, I guess, if you even have one of those. I mean, that math is obviously not meant to compute in any meaningful way. I I'm just very grateful that I have a supportive family, because if I hadn't, there's a good chance that at this point in time I would be one of these pictures. And I don't know, I still feel kind of awkward about taking these pictures and showing them, but right, because I want to be a little clandestine. I don't want to bother these people, but at the same time, so I feel like it's sort of important, because a lot of people just don't really know, like they haven't seen it out there. You have a 5-bedroom house for $2,000 a month? Are you serious? You could not even get an apartment in Silver Lake for $2K. Are you joking? Right? You have a 5-bedroom house. You could fit a whole bunch of people in a 5-bedroom house. Yeah, no, that won't even get you like a single room in the valley, like a really shitty one too at that point. So right, I mean, so here we are on the freeway, and all these people, they're probably having the similar thing on their mind, like how am I gonna even get there? The gas just went up to $5. No, it's not $5. It's like $4 now, but it's right. There's just something that doesn't compute like in any meaningful way, and that's where you start to think like this is all just sort of set up to build resentment, because there literally is no way that you can reasonably live in the city at this point. And I'm guessing San Francisco is actually a little pricier. And as you can see, I just wanted to give you this feeling of what it's like to be on the freeway, because you're trying to fight downtown. There's like a million cars in your way, and you're only going like 15 miles an hour, and you really need to get there, but there's no other way to go. So you're just stuck cruising. You're stuck cruising, bro. All right, let's switch to the news. I still gotta work on my bumper, man.
Wait. Let me get the button. It's time
Actually don't have that many articles saved up from today, but I did drive by CNN, so I wanted to show you guys like ground zero, what it's like at CNN. And shocker, newsflash, there's like homeless people everywhere, but it doesn't have anything specifically to do with, well, maybe it does. I mean, but to do with CNN. But right, looking at these guys wash the windows of this fancy building, launching out all this awesome information that you need to get. And this is right next to that building, next to the good old Channel News Network. Creative News Network. Let's say creative. I like Creative News Network. This is like sort of an industrial power one, it seems like. And honestly, like I really keep meaning to pull out this old episode of Star Trek where they get into like it's like a whole 5G parable that there's some like under race that needs to get protected by these router towers, and like that just totally jived with me with this caller. I'm gonna have to pull that stuff up. but these are out there. I don't have a specific thing about this tower. Just we're on the 5G watch. Sorry, it's it's amusing to me. All right, let's keep it moving. I brought you this news from CNN's like InfoWall Direct. That's kind of, they have this ticker out in front. And apparently there's bacteria in New Jersey. This Ebola, Ebola. That's an okay word to say. Ebola. I think we're supposed to say Ebola. That they're really just priming the pump, especially after all those shows last couple weeks ago. And there's just some really honestly terrifying news stories going on around about people getting sick, and just that's been one of my major drum beating things almost this entire show, is that the pandemic is probably one of the most programmed, the most referenced symbol in entertainment whatsoever. And just the sheer volume of news articles doing referencing bacteria or some other, the Fiji story. There's just so many weird little, oh, what was that, it really does feel like the beginning of some disaster movie. Just vague statement about the law enforcement. They seem like good guys. They just sort of cruise around, and I mean, there's nothing really they can do. And don't worry, I'm saving the gruesome ones for later. I don't know if you followed this thread about the mud flood and how all of our history has been completely faked, like front to back, and that most historical figures that we know are not. They're sort of fabrications or hybridizations of actual figures, but the whole thing has been completely distorted and misrepresented. From Napoleon all the way back. That most likely a hole in 1,000 years was inserted. And right, I don't need to go on a full diatribe about the mud flood. There's definitely enough mud flood content on YouTube these days, which makes me sort of think it could be a psyop. But at the same time, right, the argument is still solid. Can you picture showing up with your like Oregon Trail buggy or whatever? You just showed up and you're planning your homestead, and then what would you do? You would get right to work on some sick ass masonry, some like ludicrous detailed masonry, some like bas relief. I don't even know what you want to call this, but like, who would you call to do this, Mr. Master Builder? It is so intricate and so beautiful, right? And it looks like it's been sort of cut away at that point. But there's definitely just some weird buildings that are on the main sort of drag, right? They're hidden in plain sight. But that, after being sensitized to a lot of that mudflood content, you look up and you're like, the fuck? It is really creepy, right? Those kind of masks and stuff, and there's obviously some heavy sort of symbolism here. I don't know if the shot is high res enough to figure that out, but just be aware that things are just not what they seem. And I don't know, everything is just like a parody irony of itself. Like there's all these homeless people everywhere, like literally under this billboard, and then you have this giant billboard. They're trying to bring awareness to it. And yeah, you don't last very long out on the street. That's the crazy thing. There's a pretty high turnover rate, and then to think that there's at least that magazine article I read, they said 110,000 people living on the West Coast, homeless. But depending on what situation you end up, you may not have, you may only have a couple months. But I like this shot because it's like society collapsing and then new luxury apartments going up right here, all sort of hiding behind is the Scientology sign. So I don't know, LA really is like a parody of itself. But it's honestly pretty depressing to see it at this later stage. anybody that comes visits me, I say do not go to the Strip. Like that is if this is your first time in LA, that is a major waste of time. If you go see those stars, it is one of the grossest places in the city. There's a lot other better places you can go, right? But again, black and white. Could go off on many tangents at this point, but we're focused on the late stage capitalism of this whole experience. That it really is. It's falling apart in front of your eyes, and nobody knows what to do about it. Right? I really feel for this guy. Right? He's straight up digging through the trash. That is brutal. I wish literally anything else for him, but just another one on the list, basically, right? Right in the middle of these new ride-sharing scooters that he's not going to be able to ride. And it's like there's still people down there. There's still things happening. I mean, these are all tourists, obviously, and this guy's just trying to make some money. Wasn't a bad sax player either. And this guy really is in frame, but there's a guy over here that didn't have a shirt, and he was obviously like on meth or some sort of stimulants. He was rocking out to this guy's sick Kenny G stylings. And just, sort of crossing the street and wandering around. And they obviously sort of seem like locals. The cops drive by. Nothing they can do. This guy's sign, I kind of like this sign though. It was clever. His sign said, $1 to go fuck yourself. $1 to go fuck yourself, right? Just trying to get a laugh, trying to give a different slant on the begging thing, because that's what it's like down there. And all of that mixed up with this, I just can't get it out of my mind now. Like, who? Like, I'm sorry, this is not like a PG rated channel. So who the fuck would carve something like that? And who could do it today? Nobody. I mean, I guess I'm not friends with like masonry people, but there's no like schools or colleges, because this is some fine art shit, And I know fine art people, and there's no one that learns how to carve like this anymore. That is just not. The material cost is sort of too exorbitant to even practice and get any good. And just look at, they're masterful. The leaves. And I think the Space Invaders thing is like sort of it's like a hint or like a clue or something. Is there a dude in that window? Is that like an arm? I'm trying not to like spy on people, but totally took a picture of that guy's window. Sorry.
Sure, dude.
Sorry. Traffic, right? I just wanted to give you a little taste of, what I'm dealing with every day, basically. And then you go sit in the car, right, for the grand privilege of losing all of your money to insane amounts of rent. Poll, guys, like, can you go get some cheap food? How much is a McDonald's at your place? Because I like McDonald's. I really shouldn't eat it too often because it's terrible for you. I can feel that every time I eat it. But at the same time, sometimes it's 3 a.m. and I want some McDonald's. And when I go to McDonald's, I get a Big Mac meal but I want some chicken nuggets. So I got to get some chicken nuggets too, right? That seems like a pretty basic, meal. It's a fast food meal. It's a non-healthy on-the-go kind of meal for people on the go. At the drive-thru I go to, that is $17. That's almost $20. I know, CJ. I know I'm not supposed to eat at McDonald's because McDonald's is cancer. But the point is that, like, just to go and get the crappiest dirt level of food, that was $17, right? I'd much. No, I know it's not chicken. We all know it's not chicken. It's like a bunch of paste ground up chicken butthole. for you. Right. So if I want, because I there's 1,000 other places I would much rather go than McDonald's, but those are going to be about $25 to $30 and up for a standard meal for a human being. So wait, let me just do this math real quick again. Good healthy food at takeout. I mean, I know we're supposed to prep and like grow some seeds or whatever, but I don't know. Life's moving quick here in LA, so $30 a meal. Let's say times two. You can skip one of those meals, so that's $60 a day. Let's times that times 30. That's $1,800. Wait, but we only made $600. Fuck. Like honestly, I have there's no answer. There's no like next part to the story because that's the end of the story. It's like if you don't have a safety net, if you don't have friends and family, if you're not extremely well off and have a really good job, then you are fucked. In a not so ironic way. Yeah, I'm not even gonna get into the news. That's my news for today. It's news about Los Angeles. That is the cutting edge. What is happening at this very moment in Los Angeles? So deal with it. Take what you want. Yeah, Murphy's Law. They definitely do have a dollar menu. So that's what I'm saying. Like they have other cheaper stuff, and maybe I'm just a glutton for punishment. I could probably get something cheaper at McDonald's. But like Wendy's, it's the same thing. It's like $10. I think the cheapest is In-N-Out. In-N-Out, you could still get a double for like $10. But that's almost the cheapest meal I could find these days, outside of making it myself. Yeah, do you like me flashing that frame? I want to get into some entertainment, and I just have a couple tiny little clips from the 3% because, well, there's so much to do, guys. There's all these other shows, Big Little Liars. Was that Scott Rogers? Scott Rogers telling me about Good Omen, Bad Omen. I was trying to watch that a little bit. That thing seems intense. There's a lot of new shows to watch, but I sometimes I like to binge and stick with one thing for a while. And I'm not quite caught up yet, but I'm gonna give you a huge spoiler. Okay, none of these words I can say with any sort of confidence, so I'm just gonna sort of pulse them at you. Civilization, your face, Ebola cure. So what happens? What happens next? Honestly, it's hard to tell. I mean, you can see from my pictures that there appears to be too many people with not enough resources, at least around here. So there is a lot of talk, a lot of push, a lot of messaging about how we don't need any more children. We're done. We good. Let's just pause on that. Man, I read an article that what is it? Oregon, they produce so much cannabis that at current consumption rates they could stop production for like 6 years and they still wouldn't have smoked all that shit. Like they have too much. Just a funny thought to think of 6 years excess cannabis. So the point is this is Netflix. This is a Brazilian show, right? And they obviously have their own overpopulation issues down there. It's a different demographic, a different style, but they also like Netflix and like being entertained. And so the show is about like I guess everybody in the society. At a certain age, you take this test and you're like, I want to be in the 3%. And it really is just this very thinly veiled play on the 1%. Our whole banner cry, Wolf of Wall Street. What was it called? Rush to Wall Street? Occupy Wall Street. The 3%. And then if you pass all these tests, then you get to be in the 3%. And the 3% run the world, just like the 3% or the 0.0001% rule, everything around here. But they don't tell you until you pass all these crazy tests and like get really just like injured and thrown through the ringer. They want to make sure you're a really, 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 really good person. Which I guess a test could just prove somehow. But then they tell you, they're like, well, the reason society is all screwed up is because we have children and nepotism. And nepotism ruins everything because then people just don't achieve on their own merit. And, you sort of see where they're coming from, but then you're like, should we all get sterilized? I don't really want to get... Yeah, right? And then they're like sort of fighting with it. Should we get sterilized? Should I not get... Everybody ends up getting sterilized. And that's, right, that's often, you'll see that on television where people will have a debate about a difficult subject. Oh man, should I kill my sister or should I let the semi-truck run over a whole bunch of school children? Like, what should I do? I don't have much time. I gotta choose. I guess I'll kill... No, family always comes first. So I guess the children die in that point. And there's a very clear like lineage there where like if person was mean to girl, then they deserve to die. That's usually how that goes. And so I don't know. The main guy was being pretty mean to this girl in this scene. So I don't know if he's gonna get killed or anything. But I just wanted to show this clip because there's some serious pearls of wisdom here. It's all in Portuguese, so you don't really care about the language. I'm gonna just pause it for 1 second. Right, so they have, it's just like in the real world, they have the bad guys and the good guys, and right, these good guys are the 3%, and they're just sort of misunderstood by all the other, poor people that just don't understand what it's like being an ultra genius. And this girl was on the opposition. She was kind of trying to kill the main guy, and then she gets like double flipped, right? She was the double agent, and then she got triple agented. And it's always interesting to see how people get leveraged in entertainment, because I think that's another thing. If you see people folding when their family is threatened over and over again, if you were ever in that situation where your family was threatened, you would tell them everything you know at that point, right? Because it's been like programmed into you. But this is coming from the 3%, right? And it really is, I think it's another just fitting little symbol for our good times here on the interwebs. They indoctrinated you, made you see things, insert whatever you want to insert at that point. Is that what we're doing here? Are we indoctrinating you to make you see the wrong way? I'm really just trying to get you in some weird energy. I can't even come up with the rest of that story. Like, what? And that's how they break her. They set it all up, right? But everything that you were fighting for, your whole cause, was a lie. It was totally fake. Fake truth. She thought that this guy killed her brother, and then it turns out that her brother was alive the whole time. Right? It's a pretty like brutal scene because she definitely gets waterboarded before. Right? But after watching that, right? I don't know. Those kind of things just settle in. They settle into your brain hole, and right when you're in a high stress situation, you won't be able to control your emotions. That's honestly not how that works. Like, especially people that don't experience high stress that often, then you're going to perform as programmed. That's it's like you've been practicing for that moment your entire life, and when that moment comes, you're going to perform as programmed. Let's just check this last little clip here. Because this is the manifest from the thing, and this, I don't know, it feels eerily possible. They usually go too far to prove the point. Right, Elish? You telling us the truth.
You telling us the truth. You telling us the truth.
Here's the oath that you will take if you want to join the 3%. To sacrifice, what is it? I sacrifice my reproductive ability in the name of a fair society and only to enter the offshore, right? And then they get the shot. Oh, and it's like goes in your arm and makes this cool little sound and symbol thing. This is different than your average shot. Gives you like this clamshell powder. And I don't know how they're able to sterilize you by just going at your arm, but this show, what's up, Homegrown? What's up, Homegrown? This is the 3%. It's on Netflix. This is in the first season. I'm still trying to catch up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm proving the point that I can't always bring that fresh. I can't always bring that fresh info to you guys because there's many pans in the fire. I did bring you a whole bunch of fresh images from Los Angeles, so that's got to count for something, right? And then you're happy. You're in the 3%. Welcome to the 3%. Your head's ringing. Your balls just got drained of all of their power. He doesn't really look so good, but you're in the 3%. And I don't know, it's something worth thinking about because we're all sort of like in our different prisons. The crazy thing about moving up and down in society, you could work super hard. You could work your whole life towards something and get there. And then it's like almost more of a prison than the one you got out of, right? Because of whatever societal constraints or whatever you have to go through to be at that echelon. It may be just a major hassle that you end up being less happy with. Dude, Eric, Elliot, I appreciate that. Thanks for saying that because I appreciate that. It's good. At the beginning there, you guys weren't maybe there at the beginning. But I was legit just talking to myself. Oh no, I'm playing the audio. Don't get copyright. I almost got the copyright strike for playing Portuguese. If I'm going to get a strike, it better be for something better than playing the audio from 3%. Gonna do something edgier. Homegrown pointed out something. Yes, it is called predictive programming. Homegrown pointed out something. There is something big coming. And there's always crazy schemes in the future, and I don't want to give it all away, but it looks like Snafu Snaps and myself are gonna be doing a show together because we're just too hot for the truth. We're too into that truth seeking, and we want to seek the truth together. So we love Marf. Both of us are Fugal family members. And I think part of that is him inspiring everybody to go out and not replicate, not just copy, but grow it. Like take the concept of truth telling that is not hateful. I was thinking about that today. I want to go there. I want to tell you my mind, but hateful is never. It's not constructive. It doesn't. That's what divides us even further. And there is a lot of good info here on the interwebs. Even some really angry people you can get some good info out of them. But I would we're trying to bring something else we can talk about truth things without getting all, man, these guys are just like, wait, I need.
These guys are true.
Well, maybe you're getting yourself and you could get out of it if you just would wake up for like 5 seconds, bro. Yeah, dude. Now that's coming though. We're going to try to do that every Sunday, so it'd be great. It would be great to have you there. We're going to try to do call-ins. See who calls in, Maybe a slow start, but we're going to get it growing. And Hopefully get some cool people on there. Oh no! The audio! Get out of here! And I got a new documentary coming out. I finished it, but I haven't released it yet. And it's, you know, I don't usually work hard on stuff, and I worked hard on like editing this movie. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys will check that out also. And we're hitting the 33 mark, so I'm gonna...
Get out of here, man, but I wanted to do a little auto-tune singing. Maybe just a little bit. Hey, say, hey, Scott Rogers. Oh man, I got to go to sleep right now. It's like almost 2 in the morning, but like I can't remember the time. I go to sleep all sorts of random times these days. But I want you to have a good day and night. A logical kitty. Alice. Wait, how did you post that? How did you post that? Checkerboard. That's a sick checkerboard. What? What are you asking, Elias? Like, you said what, but what do you mean what?
What do you mean what?
It's a fake truth show. I never know what's gonna happen on the fake truth show. That's how I keep you guys guessing, 'cause I don't even know what I'm gonna do half the time. I'm just saying random shit, that's all I can do. There's no time to like make some illogical kitty plan.
Okay, I'm done. The show's over. It's over. All right. Good night.